In previous lecture, we learned how to apply text and graphic. For example, we learned how to add a text and add a bevel and emboss. We also learned how to apply an image and know a few techniques of how to resize images. Apply stroke to create a frame. In this lecture, we're going to learn a bunch of new techniques. Particularly, we're going to learn how to select images with the different tools and how to apply the merging effect, how to use gradient tool to create a background, for example, and how to apply filter effects. First, let's look at selection techniques. You need to go to Canvas to download the images and save to your desktop and import to Adobe Photoshop. The images that are needed for these lectures include independence, ocean, palm tree, sailboat, turtle, and the violin. Let's create a new file. So I'm going to go to New, and let's name it Selection. And select inches as the unit. Width 7, height 5, resolution 72, and click Create. Control plus to enlarge the working area. Now remember, in the last lecture, we learned how to use marquee to select images. For example, as like independence, right? This is a square images, so we can use a marquee to select the whole thing. And in this, we're going to learn different techniques. So let's first click on this menu button at the right bottom corner and select elliptical marquee. Once you select that, the property box shows up, and go to feather, change to 20 pixel. And now I'm going to enlarge the image so I can select and go to the middle part of this image and select portion of it, edit, copy, and go back to the selection. We need to create a different background so we can see how the image is being painted into it and show the effects. Let's go to the layer and create a new layer and name it color. Then go back to the marquee selection tool, go back to the square marquee, okay, rectangular, okay. And I'm going to select the whole canvas and then click on the front, go to the color palette of the front one, click on the front, and I'm going to select a purple one, okay, maybe purple, and click OK. Click on Paint Bucket to paint the background in purple, and Control D to deselect. Create a new layer on top of the color layer. Go to the layer panel and name it Image 1. Remember, we select the part from Independence, so we should be able to paste it. So Edit, Paste, and this is what we have. It has a blending effect. Okay, so this is the first. If you want to create a blending effect selection, you can use a marquee tool and make sure you set a feather to certain parameters. And it really depends on how big the image is and how big the spread is of the image. The second technique we're going to learn is if we have an image and we don't want the background to come with it. And how can we select an image that filter out the background? Now let's take a look at turtle. You look at this one, it's a square, but certainly we don't want white area. We only want the turtle image only. You notice that the background, the color is consistent, it's all white. If this different color or image blended, this technique would not work. And the technique we're going to use is we're going to go to look at the toolbar. 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one, and click on the button, selection button. You go to the last one, it says magic wand, and select magic wand 2. The magic wand 2 will help you to select only the white area, not the image itself. So I'm going to click on the white area. You notice the alt white area is selected. But this is not the image itself. Let's go to select, go to the menu, select inverse. Now you notice that the image itself is selected, not the white background. That's what we need. And go to edit, copy. Let's go back to the selection. And I'm going to create a new layer, an image 2. Okay, and edit, paste. This is a big, we know how to reduce it. So we go to free transform and we make it smaller. The third one is, what if the file has like different color background and the shape is irregular? Then we need to use a different tool. It's called lasso. Select polygonal lasso tool. Okay, that's the second one, will help us. Click on the violin. You notice that the violin, this part is white, but you see this is like brownish, and so the magic wand is not going to work for us in this case. So we need to use the polygonal lasso to select it. And this is a pretty painstaking effort. You do need to have a mouse, because if you use a touchpad, it's pretty challenging. So if you have a mouse, and then it's easy to select. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to select here. So again, this is a pretty time-consuming job. As you select, along the way, you try to click, create a different multiple angles. So that if you go, that will help you to turn the image like here. I'm going to go to the corner and go up. I have to create an anchor here and go up and go here. And the more click points you add, the smooth the selection of the image. There we go. We go to the very beginning where we selected. And I'm going to double click. You see this image is selected, okay? And I'm going to edit, copy, and go back to my selection. And I'm going to create a new layer. It's called image 3. And edit, paste. Again, I'm going to reduce the size, use a edit free transform. And looks pretty good. Click on the move. Okay. So these are the 3 techniques in selection. And there's one situation. If you click on the palm tree, you notice that here is a white, pretty good. We can use a magic wand probably. But what if you have something white in the middle of the image? How you select that part? It requires a combination of magic wand and lasso. Okay, that combine these two techniques. Let's start with the magic wand. So click on the magic wand, and it selects the white area, this one, right? So what you need to do is hold your shift key, never let it go, okay? So I'm going to select the second portion of this. This part is selected, and still holding your shift key, and select this part. This part 3 is selected. The only part is this part is not selected. I'm going to click on the polygonal lasso, and I'm going to select in the middle. Make sure you still hold your shift key. Don't let it go. Okay. All right. So we have everything selected. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What's being selected right now is only the white area, which is the background. We want the images itself. And to get to the image, you go to Select and Inverse. So you can save the image. So I will go to Select, Save Selection. I name it, give it names as palm tree. Because if I lose it, for example, I go to Control D, lose it, I will still be able to get back my palm tree selection without going through all the previous steps. I go to Select, Load the selection, and here's the palm tree, and say OK. Now, we're going to go Edit, Copy, and go to our selection. Click on New, and then name it Image 4. And Edit, Paste to free transforms. Sorry, to reduce it. All right, click on the move. So that's the end of selection technique lecture.